White starts off by sending multiple girl pictures with some sus poses. White's opening by sending random women's pictures in what's clearly a catfish attempt, trying to pretend he's someone he's not. This is already a horrible blunder from the start, but he's committed to the catfishing. Black asks, "Hi, why are you sending my pics of women?" Black's immediately confused and suspicious with a great move, directly asking why she's receiving unsolicited photos of random women. She's not engaging with the bait, just questioning the reasoning behind this opening. White responds with, "Huh?" White's playing dumb in a pathetic defensive move, acting confused when he knows exactly what he's doing and why he sent those pictures. This is a terrible inaccuracy because it makes him look both guilty and incredibly stupid. Black clarifies with, "Why are you sending me pictures?" Black asking again with a forced move because White gave her nothing useful, wanting a real explanation for the unsolicited photo spam that just spawned in her messages. White asks, "Aren't you a lebian?" White reveals his entire plan by misspelling lesbian in a catastrophic blunder, showing he's specifically targeting her because she doesn't have a pickle. He can't even spell the identity he's trying to exploit. He thought sending women's pics would automatically work on her because she's a lesbian, which is just plain stupid. Black confirms yes. Black's answering honestly in a very simple response, but she's definitely about to destroy him based on where this is heading. She's giving him enough rope to hang himself. Good move. White claims with, "Well, that's me." White's committing fully to the catfish lie in an obvious blunder, claiming those random stolen women's pictures are actually him. He's doubling down on the catfish instead of backing out. Black doubts with, "That's not you." Black's not buying it with a brilliant move, immediately calling him out instead of playing along or giving him the benefit of the doubt. She knows something's wrong here. White gets defensive with, "Excuse me?" White's acting offended that she doesn't believe his obvious lie in a forced move, like he's personally insulted by her having common sense when he's literally trying to catfish her. The audacity is next level. Black destroys him with laughing face emoji. "I've gone through your comments posted on others' posts. You gave yourself away with a guy could look at you all day. Daddy comments and stuff about being a guy. Sorry, but nope. Also, those aren't even all the same person in the pics." Black just did full detective work in an absolute cinema of a trophy move, going through his entire comment history and finding him pretending to be a guy on other posts. She caught him making daddy comments and male's perspective comments that completely contradict his current female catfish identity. She also noticed the pictures aren't even of the same woman, which means he's not just catfishing with one person's photos, he's using multiple women. White tries to defend with, "It is the same person, but whatever." White's still desperately trying to maintain the crumbling lie in a pathetic blunder, claiming it's the same person when Black literally has evidence showing completely different women in the photos. He's getting defensive because he knows he's caught. His position is completely destroyed, you just won't admit it yet. Black sends proof of White being a catfish, eyes a man could look into, dude, like seriously, there's daddy's naughty little girl, facepalm emoji. Black's posting actual screenshots of his previous comments with a great move, showing him saying eyes a man could look into and daddy's naughty little girl, which proves he's been roleplaying as a guy elsewhere. The receipts are damning and undeniable. She's got him completely cornered with evidence. White should just resign at this point. White surrenders with, "Okay, cool, I'm busted, lol." White gave up immediately after being confronted with hard evidence, admitting he's caught with a casual lol, like getting exposed for predatory catfishing is somehow funny or no big deal. Dude just admitted to everything and is trying to play it off as a joke. His entire strategy just fell apart. Black asks, "Why are you pretending to be a woman?" Black's demanding explanation with a best move now that he's admitted guilt, wanting to understand what possessed him to do this catfish strategy in the first place. White explains, "Looking for some fun, I guess." White's casually admitting he was catfishing lesbians for his own gooning activities in a disgusting blunder. He targeted a lesbian specifically, prepared fake photos, and tried to deceive her for fun. Black calls it out with, "It's predatory when you pretend to be a woman and catfish lesbians. Don't pretend to be something you're not." Black's telling him exactly why his behavior is cringe with a great move, calling it what it is, predatory. She's handling this with more patience than he deserves, honestly. White apologizes with, "Okay, I'm sorry." White's giving a weak apology after getting completely exposed, lectured, and morally destroyed. This sorry means nothing because he only apologized after getting caught with evidence, not because he actually understood why it was wrong. He's probably just going to move on and find more lesbians to catfish. Next, White sends a selfie of a guy using filtered stickers. White's opening with what appears to be a stolen photo covered in filters, trying to look attractive in a book move that's probably setting up another catfish gambit. Black responds with, "Oh, you're kinda cute, but you're not really my type, lol." Black's being polite about the rejection with a good move, acknowledging he's kinda cute, but making it clear she's not interested. She's just trying to make it easy. "If you think I'm cute, join my Discord and help me find images, link in the description." White brags with, "Big dick as well, YK." White immediately brought up his wiener size in a catastrophic blunder after getting a soft rejection. She'd said he's not her type, and he responded by talking about his ding-dong like that's gonna change her mind. Dude thinks this is a corn movie. I've also seen it, and it's really not that big. Black responds with, okay, I don't really care. Black shutting down the wiener defense with a good move, making it clear his sausage size is irrelevant to her. White asks why. White is apparently genuinely confused why she doesn't care about a schlong and an inaccuracy, like he can't comprehend that women might not be impressed by random pickle lore information. His gooner brain is absolutely malfunctioning. I can practically see the gears turning and breaking. Black explains with, because that's really not all I care about, skull emoji. Then she takes a screenshot of the conversation. Black's telling him there's more to attraction than wiener size with a best move. The screenshot means she's going to show this to her group chat or reports her. She's collecting evidence now. White responds with, block me then, I hate frigids. White's having a meltdown in a horrible blunder, telling her to block him and calling her frigid because she won't worship his eggplant. The misogyny jumped out immediately after rejection. Black searches the internet using image search and finds the exact same selfie on Pinterest. Black did reverse image search in a brilliant move and discovered his selfie is stolen directly from Pinterest. She didn't even need to argue with him anymore, she just proved he's a catfish. The entire conversation was fake from the beginning.
Is it true that the only thing flat earthers have to fear is sphere itself? Winky emoji. White opens with the ultra solid E4, looking to dominate the center and play for a dynamic tactical game. This is a book move. Sorry mate, I'm actually a dude. Fake AF profile actually made me live through 10 out of 10. You sir have a good potential on air. Best of luck. Black responds to this by immediately admitting to cheating for his entire chess career and aborts the game. This is a criminal move. Oh, wow. Thanks for the honesty. Good luck with your catfishing, sir. I wish you the best of luck in your scheming. White appreciates this and also appreciates the fact that they won't have to get brutally butchered by their 800 elo opponent, who would have played at a 99% accuracy the whole game. Best move.
Next, White opens with catfish, direct opening. White starts off aggressive and immediately accuses Black being catfish, not that good but also not bad. Book move. Black responds with, finally, someone that isn't a dumbass lol. This is obviously fake. Black's relieved someone finally had brain cells in a great move, acknowledging that catfish was obviously fake and she's tired of dealing with idiots who don't have common sense. White says LMAO bro. They're both on the same page about how ridiculous this catfish situation really was, and the match ends up in a draw.
White opens with the incredibly dubious catfish gambit. This is unsound and usually played by people who don't know what they're doing. It takes a true expert to pilot this gambit, and it can go wrong quickly. This is a blunder. I don't know why I swiped right on you. You're a fish. I'm a human. Our love is forbidden. Black plays right into White's hand, falling victim to White's terrible opening. Black must not know catfish gambit theory because of how shockingly terrible they're playing into this. This is a mistake. White continues to crash forward, sacrificing his first pawn for a greater goal. This is a good move. Don't make this harder than it has to be. I can't resist you, Catfish Senpai. Black is stubborn and refuses White's pawn sacrifice and tries to stay solid. Black has no idea what they're doing and is basically begging to get ruthlessly mated. This is a blunder. If you guys want to master the catfish gambit, you should like and subscribe to TwoNiche and Text Chess.
Oh yeah, and buy my merch so I can afford this collab. TwoNiche makes me pay.
Out of nowhere, White sacrifices their queen. The catfish gambit is known for crazy lines, but this This is insane. If black takes, it's game over for white. White can happily resign and ignorantly go into the next game. This is an outrageous move. My brain says no, but my heart says yes. Black is conflicted. They don't know what to do. Do they take the queen? Do they activate their brain? Is it too late for black? Is black too far gone? The answer is yes. Black refuses to take the queen and continues to let white's fraudulent play look genius. This is a blunder. White is genuinely shocked. White is still confused. Like, why didn't black take the pawn before? Everyone accepts the pawn sacrifice. White clearly does not care about the queen, though. They refuse to save it even though it's hanging and pushes another pawn. This is an outrageous move. You're playing with my heart, darling. Black still does not capture the queen. They choose to continue to develop. Black is shocked at this point. They've never encountered a player so bold, but they like it. This is a blunder. White is clearly 100 Elil because they still choose not to save their queen. Instead, they sacrifice their rook. They know that if white takes, well, actually, they don't really know much. They're just winging it. This is a missed win. God, I want to believe you're real, but something doesn't seem real. Black is so enthralled by white's majestic play that with rose-tinted goggles, they assume white is truly genius. They don't know the depths of charlatanry that is going on beneath the surface. Black continues to fall victim to the catfish gambit. They do not accept the rook. Instead, they move their king closer to the center of the board. This is an outrageous move. BBL. At this point, white is pissed. Black has not accepted any of white's sacrifices. They don't like playing chess for this long. Usually the game would have ended already. Out of sheer anger, they sacrifice the other rook and throw their phone against the wall, letting their time run out. This is a forced move. I know, but I think we can work this out. I haven't met a catfish like you before. I'm sorry. What did I do wrong? Black doesn't even know what to do, so they continue moving their king up the board. The game is a 60-minute classical game, and up until now, white's only used 15 seconds of their time. But now, black is worried because 10 minutes have passed since they moved their king up the board. Did they do something wrong? Did they somehow upset white? Another 10 minutes pass. Nothing. 30 minutes pass. Crickets. As white's clock runs to its last 10 seconds, black feels a sense of sorrow and resigns.
Next, white opens with, I see you're obsessed with Spider-Man. Not to brag, but I play the PS5 game on the hardest difficulty. White's trying to impress someone with his gaming skills in a weak book move, mentioning he plays Spider-Man on hard mode like that's gonna make her interested. That's honestly just pathetic. Go play Dark Souls 3 like a real man. You know, I beat that game my first try. Black asks, you thought I was catfish? Black's playing defensive in a risky good move, asking if white thinks she's fake despite sending actual verification photos earlier. She's testing if he bought her opening. White confirms with, well, I do now. White's calling her out in what turns out to be a brilliant move, saying he now believes she's a catfish despite the verification. Black defends with, how when I verified my photos for you. Black's trying to maintain the lie with a desperate blunder, emphasizing she verified for you like that should be enough proof. She's doubling down on fake verification, hoping he'll back off. White insists with, you're literally not verified, just tell me the name of the Instagram model you use so I can jerk off in peace. White's completely done with the catfish in a brilliant move, straight up asking the source model's name since he knows she's fake. He gave up on the conversation and he just wants the Instagram for his own gooning purposes now. Black drops the username. Black just admitted defeat by giving up the Instagram model's name she was using in a catastrophic blunder. She got caught, gave up the source material, and exposed herself completely, all in one game. White responds with, thank you. White's politely thanking her for the catfish source in a forced but kinda wholesome move. He got what he wanted even though the entire interaction was cooked. Black finishes with, no problem. Black's being casual about getting exposed as a catfish with a confusing great move, acting like it's normal or something. Next, White opens with, I'm literally sitting right by the door, wearing red plaid shirts. Can't miss me. White's giving clear location and clothing details for a meetup in what seems like a book move, trying to make himself easy to find with closing specs. Black asks, is the front door facing parking or the main road? Black's clarifying directions with a good move, making sure she's going to the right entrance. She's being thorough before committing. White clarifies with, parking lot, that's their patio towards the main road, lol, are you here? White's providing more details and asking if she arrived in a solid follow-up, trying to make the meetup happen. Everything seems fine so far. White panics with, I really hope you didn't see the much older man sitting by the door outside also wearing red and think I'm a catfish, LMAO. I'm sitting by the door inside, crying face emoji. White suddenly realizing there's another man in red by the door in a brilliant defensive move, explaining that's not him before she thinks he's catfishing and he's actually an older man. I got catfished once. It was a guy, but I'm not going to go home hungry, so I went with it. Black responds with, oh my god. Black's having a moment of realization in a forced move, confirming she probably thought he was the old man by the door. White asks, that's definitely what happened, isn't it? LMAO. White's laughing about the situation he predicted in a solid recovery, finding humor in the fact that she probably did see the older guy first. Good move. Black confirms 100% I'm turning around. Black's admitting she absolutely thought she got catfish and tried to dip faster than my dad, but after cleaning up the misunderstanding, she's now turning around to continue the date unlike my dad. White won by checkmate. Next, White opens with, can we talk? White's trying to restart a conversation after something went wrong in a desperate opening, asking for a chance to explain himself. This is already starting from a bad position, inaccuracy. Black asks, about what? Black's not giving him anything with a solid good move, making him explain what he wants instead of replying immediately. She's putting the pressure on him. White says what happened. Wanting to discuss whatever the hell happened, a good move, not being specific about what happened means though. He's testing if he can gaslight his opponent. Black asks why. Black's still not giving him ground with a best move, questioning why they need to discuss it at all. She's making him work for every response. White explains, because I really like talking to you. I felt like there was chemistry. White's trying the emotional manipulation, claiming they had chemistry and he enjoyed their talks. He's hoping this manipulation will work, and a mistake. Black shuts it down with, LOL, you'll have to find it somewhere else, bruh. Black's rejecting him completely with a great move, telling him to find chemistry elsewhere. White asks, so you can't get over a false picture? You can't move on from that? White's revealing he catfished her with fake photos in a catastrophic blunder, then trying to guilt trip her for caring about being lied to. He's making himself the victim for getting caught lying. Black responds, if you want to paint me like the bad guy, go for it. Black's calling out his manipulation with a brilliant move, telling him he can try to make her the villain, but she's not falling for it. She sees right through his guilt trip. White argues with, you're painting yourself. I'm asking you to realize that I'm the big picture. I told you almost right away. I didn't try and hide it. I wanted you to know. Wow. White's claiming he told her almost right away about the fake photos and a horrible blunder. At the end, he shows he's upset she's not giving in. Telling someone after they're already invested is not honesty. Black explains it would work out a lot better if you were honest about everything from the beginning. Black stating basic knowledge with a brilliant move, explaining that honesty from the start prevents these problems. She's being reasonable while he's just being manipulative. White responds with, just block me. White's using the just block me manipulation in a pathetic mistake, trying to make her feel bad for him so she'll keep replying. This is classic guilt tripping. Black lectures with, I'm sorry for whatever reason you have that you're too insecure to show yourself online. That's part of the whole process. You don't get to trick people into talking to you and to surprise them when you meet them in person. I'm not sure what world you think that's okay in, but if that's your game, maybe try another medium. Black's delivering a brutal offense with a brilliant move, explaining exactly why catfishing is wrong, showing sympathy for his insecurity, and making it clear that his behavior is unacceptable. She's trying to teach little bro basic knowledge. White defends with, that's not why I did it at all, but clearly nothing I say will change your mind. White's denying her offense while simultaneously giving up in a weak miss, acting like she's being unreasonable while he's the one who lied. Black asks, in what world did you think this would pan out in your favor? Do you think I'm stupid? Black's questioning his logic with a great move, asking what his endgame was and if he thinks she's dumb enough to overlook catfishing. These are valid moves that he cannot deflect. White explodes with, "You act like I'm some fucking lying monster." White then sends a picture of some BDSM bundle toys. White's having a breakdown, calling himself a lying monster sarcastically, then randomly sending BDSM toy photos in a completely unhinged blunder. What is happening? Why did he send kinky photos during an argument about trust? His brain is way too gooned out. He thought this was gonna work. Black asks, what was the goal of this? Black's genuinely confused with a good move, asking what he's trying to accomplish by sending freaky ass pictures during a match, and this makes absolutely no sense. White responds, of what? Black's playing dumb in a pathetic inaccuracy, pretending he doesn't know what she's asking about, despite just sending the photo. Black clarifies with the photo. Black specifying she means the BDSM photo in a forced move, making sure he knows exactly what confused her. White says nothing, just sent it. White claims he sent the freaky ass image for no reason in a horrible blunder, which makes this even weirder. Random kinky photos during arguments are not normal behavior. Black responds, Lamau. Black's just laughing at this gooner with a brilliant move, not even engaging with whatever that was. She's done taking this seriously. White propositions, at this point there's nothing I can do to convince you to come over here out on a blindfold and trust me to give you one of the most amazing times of your life. White's asking a woman to catfish to come over, put on a blindfold, and trust him in a creepy, outrageous move. Dude, she does not trust you with basic honesty, and you're asking her to be blindfolded in your fucking room. That sounds like the opening to a Netflix crime documentary. Black finishes with, okay, Ted Bundy. Black's comparing him to a serious killer with a massive, brilliant move, pointing out that someone you deceive to blindfold themselves and trust you is exactly what a murderer would do. Perfect comparison, gooner down. If you press that playlist that pops up, by the way, a $20 bill will spawn in your pockets, trust me.